So, Craig, you predicted it last week, Thursday night. Friday night, Jim White on here said it's his understanding that it's highly likely that Graeme Souness will return to Rangers in an advisory capacity, not an ambassadorial position. What do you feel, Craig? You obviously had that, and you felt that was going to happen anyway.
Yeah, well, Paul, I was waiting for your call all night. Look, for me, Souness absolutely makes sense. I think it's a role which I've been quite strong on, that I think needs to be in play at Rangers Football Club. I think somebody with that football nous, credibility, who's not an administrator, who is a football person, who will be able to pick up the phone to anybody involved in the game anywhere in the world, or vice versa. People will be delighted to be able to contact a certain Mr. Graeme Souness. I believe that he would be a great fit for the football club. I believe that his passion and love for Rangers also is important, because I think there needs to be that kind of fit now for Rangers, because unfortunately, I think with Michael Beale and the signing scenario and how that happened, and now potentially a new manager having to deal through that kind of thing, I think it's important to have, and I'm going to call it not a football director.
No, okay.
Right? I'm just going to go with something simple like football advisor, and Graeme Souness I think is a great shout for the football club.
Because that's what I was about to ask you. What will the role look like?
Yes.
What is the role?
Certainly an ear for the manager. Yeah, tap into his expertise, have normal conversation. Manager still goes and makes his decisions and plays his formations and plays, but I just think it's a sounding platform of a football great that has enormous knowledge, an enormous network. I think too many times people look at these kind of people in these kind of roles as a threat. That for me is very insecure. Be strong. And show a presence and surround yourself with good people. And I think Graeme Souness would be a great addition.
And of course, Graeme, Paul, as you mentioned, you referenced Walter Smith. It was Graeme who brought him to the club because Walter was a big part of Dundee United's success under Jim McLean, and the manager, Souness, at the time brought him to Ibrox. John, do you like the sound of that? Do you think Graeme Souness back in at Ibrox is a good move?
Well, he's an icon there, isn't he? And I suppose a club that are really struggling at the minute might need somebody like that. You look at it, and would Brendan Rodgers bring Martin O'Neill back to the club? Because they're winning and they're successful in a reign where Rangers they're struggling. They've had 3 managers in the last whenever it is, 12 months or whatever. And he might give the whole place a lift. He might give it a little bit of a boost in terms of the manager as well, with his experience. I think he'd certainly come back as a director of football role, something like that. Help with the recruitment, and obviously be there for a shoulder to cry on if you want. If Philip Clement wants that, but certainly he's somebody that commands a bit of respect, and I personally don't know. I haven't heard anything about his return, but I don't know about you, Craig.
Yeah, no, again, it's a lot of speculation and kind of what we're hearing. And just that being asked a question by the caller there, Paul. And but for me, again, I can only speak for myself. If I was in a situation where I was able to tap into someone's experiences and knowledge and network of the like of Graeme Souness, I would only see that as great value. I would like to think that Clement would think the same.
And he must be consulted, you would imagine.
Yeah, but also, John, you started to go down a road where I thought, mate, you're spot on. Rangers, you're saying they're struggling. They've gone through a lot of change off the field as well as on the field. And I think there is probably that lack of identity. Graeme Souness brings that. He brings all of that.